Hey everybody, welcome to the FreeMind Podcast. It's Tuesday, January 23rd. We have James Tan, founder of Yerbana Yerba Mate. Let's jump right in and listen to James's story.
So my name is James, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Yerbana. We started in 2017, and we are a Yerba Mate wellness company.
Excellent. So what inspired you to start Yerbana, and how did you come up with the name?
We had a couple name iterations. It wasn't called Yerbana from the start. I was really passionate about plant medicine, nutrition, physical health. And so I had stumbled upon yerba mate, and for me, I had not had a consistent source of caffeine. Coffee made me super jittery. And I just fell in love with yerba mate, the plant, and I use it a lot for fasting, and I discovered a lot of the benefits. You know, I obviously had read them, but then experientially it grew my passion for it. And then traveling around to South America and seeing the way that yerba mate connects people together, I was inspired to create a brand that was more than just a tea, more than just a beverage, but also a community of people who gather for wellness. And so we throw wellness events on the side. That's kind of the thing that makes our brand a little more than just a food and beverage company.
Talk to me a little bit about from a design standpoint. I'm a very visual learner and very drawn to brands from a visual standpoint. And that was just a huge draw in for me with your packaging, your design, even like the mobile carts you're using at events. Like everything is designed to such a beautiful level.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because we were super lean funded. My buddy Alex, he had done a lot of the design. We weren't really working with designers or design firms. We just didn't have the money. So we kind of threw some things together, and we've had some themes, and we also enabled and empowered lots of our friends to just paint and then do art for us. So that art we got used, and then we had one of our friends do like a kind of a mural, and it was inspired by the yerba mate leaves. And then our motto, which is finding your flow state. It's like having the healthy energy to pursue life's passions, whatever brings you to the present moment, and how that gives you a sense of mental health and well-being.
And just make sure you relay the compliments to everybody. I've been in this for 20 years, and it's very hard to relay the stylistic and lifestyle of your brand when it comes to packaging and when it comes to marketing. A lot of people want to promote the ingredients or whatever else, but I just want to give it the compliment out there. You guys fully from a holistic level really embraced it, and you know exactly what. When you look at that package on the shelf, you know exactly what lifestyle that is. You get what it is, and you understand the mission. And it's just it's a very not normal, I would say, and sometimes in food and beverage, a lot of people go the easy routes, and when it comes to design, but you guys nailed it.
It took us some time, I'll say, like when you go to a design firm, they get you this whole package, and they do all these experiments with you, and they say, hey, what does this color make you feel? How does this line? Should it be curvy? Should it be sharp? Whatever. And for us, it was just all trial and error. And I'll say there were some many iterations of Yerbana, and even prior, before we called that were not cohesive. And, we didn't know our identity. Were we a wellness brand? Were we focused on this community that we're building, or South American vibes, or, and it was really a process of unfolding exactly what we wanted it to be. And it was very organic. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you kind of come about with discovering the health benefits and the culture of Yerba Mate, and kind of what are the benefits you personally experienced from drinking it that drove you into making it a business?
Yeah, so I first encountered yerba mate when I was in choir. A couple dudes in my choir were drinking it, passing it around. I drank it a little bit and didn't really touch it again until much later in life. And when I was traveling, I encountered some yerba mate beverages, and I was like, oh, this is interesting, and we started this create a company class in UW, and we decided, let's make a yerba mate drink. And, I was experimenting lots with different herbs and different plants, different roots, adaptogens, things with different health benefits. And so I started drinking yerba mate, and it's a beautiful, beautiful plant for so many reasons. It's got so many vitamins and minerals. Antioxidant rich, it's anti-inflammatory. It really promotes digestion, which I think is really important because a lot of times we overeat and we don't breathe deeply. And yerba mate promotes digestion. It also promotes breathing with the theobromine and theophylline. Those are found in acai and cacao. They're heart openers. They improve your vasodilation. And so a lot of times the indigenous people would actually combine yerba mate with other herbs to improve the bioavailability, improve the uptake. And so over the course of just drinking it a lot and seeing it fuel basically this business when I had very little money, living in a van, and just basically drinking lots of yerba mate and being passionate about the way it energized me to work on this and the level of focus. Because I do feel, for me personally, coffee gives me a lot of this nervous energy, like physical energy, but not necessarily concentration. And I find that yerba mate differs in that way. Its energy is quite unique. And it's because it's less caffeinated, but also has that theobromine theophylline. So it gives you that kind of head-heart balance. I think that's why a lot of athletes like Leo Messi, for example, love it for sport, is because it makes you more energized, but not more nervous. And sometimes I remember I would take tests in college and drink coffee before them and totally misread questions and just skip over it and fat finger when I'm typing and realizing that not all energy is good necessarily. And so there was a level of uniqueness to the energy. And then I developed this relationship to it when I started traveling to Brazil and found a supplier. And the tradition and the connection to nature, the respect for nature that the people who cultivate it have, and the respect for each other, the inclusiveness of a mate circle, where you can travel so many different places in South America and be invited to join a circle. And it's so inclusive, it's so inviting. And it really showed me that holistic health is so much more than nourishment for the body, but connections. And so a big part of our business, instead of marketing traditional ways, which would be like putting stickers in cold cases and buying swag, we throw wellness events. And it's really been an awesome thing that plays into all my passions. And I found before I even knew yerba mate was the thing that brought all of my loves together, it was like I was inspired to pursue it. And so it really, it was so organic, and I'm so appreciative now that this is the thing that I've staked my my life's work on, and that it really just it fills all my all my passions. So
that's awesome. And from a standpoint too, now that you're in the business aspect, you're on retail shelves now, and kind of where can people find out where you are and get your products?
Yeah, so right now we are distributed mostly in the Pacific Northwest. Our biggest chain is QFC. We are looking to expand online as well. And I am looking to actually expand our products more into the loose leaf tea. So we've been a small business. We've been operating as a beverage company. I'll be honest, beverage isn't a small business type of company. It's raise a lot of capital. It's a burn a lot of cash and look to exit. And I didn't know that going in. But I really want to create a sustainable business. I really want to not sell it and make it something that continues to create good in the world and promote this wonderful herb. And I found, like, honestly, so many people think that yerba mate is this yellow can beverage called griaki, and nothing against them, but it just doesn't resemble yerba mate at all. Unfortunately, it's very caffeinated, it's very sweet, and it doesn't taste like the herb. And so we are going to expand online. I think online will be one of the best places to get us. And I'm going to start launching some new products with adaptogenic mushrooms, CBD, and also this wonderful powder. It almost resembles matcha. It's like the matcha of yerba mate. It's called chimarrão, and it only comes from the south of Brazil. So we're going to be launching a product here pretty soon. So everyone should be looking out for that one. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be like nothing really that is out there for yerba mate, and so really excited about that.
That sounds perfect. That's awesome. And it's really it's good to see, like, this isn't a job for you. You're not broken down. And I mean, I know that as an entrepreneur myself, there's days where there's tears, there's days where there's laughter, there's days where there's, cold showers, hot showers, all the mix in between, ice showers, ice baths. But I can see, and that's one of the reasons I love doing this podcast is I can see the joy, like in the fact that you're controlling your life, you're controlling your destiny, and you're taking something you're passionate about and spreading it out in the community, and that's just phenomenal.
It's part of the reason why our motto is find your flow state, and I really think like you just follow your intuition and you don't worry too much and you let life develop you in the right way, and you end up just falling into your passion. And there's something beautifully organic about not overthinking it and just kind of following your intuition. And the universe wants to see you thrive in the most beautiful way, in harmony with it, I really believe that. And I had no idea I would love Yerba Mate so much, or that this would become something that I was so passionate about. But, working on it for so long, and, the journey of every entrepreneur is they don't get paid for a long time, and especially if you're in beverage. I'm telling you, I'm warning all future beverage owners. But I'll tell you, when you do what you love, it makes you rich in a way that you can never justify with a salary. So that's flow state.
That's a great point. One of my biggest drivers when I started doing this full time and got out of an exclusive contract to start spreading out and more controlling my time, and that became more valuable than anything else, was being able to control my time and my pace. And yeah, things are bad some days and things are good some days, but at the end of the day, for the most part, I have control of my time. So, and that's a valuable thing. I want to go and talk about sourcing your ingredients and ensuring the quality and sustainability of your products. We've seen a lot over the past years of different supply chain issues and things like that. So without sharing your secrets though, like how do you source your ingredients, and then how do you ensure the sustainability of that supply chain?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. That's one of the things I am absolutely most proud of our brand. For me, starting a business, a huge part of it was being able to control the ethics of where my creative energy was being poured into, because I did such a deep dive into business, and for a while I was very hurt by what business was doing to the earth. Very almost anti-business, to be honest, until I really opened myself up to see that, no, it's actually innovative businesses that are going to change the world. It's people that want to do business better and do it better to the point where people don't want to support the businesses that are doing things poorly. Our farm is in the southern state of Panama. It's in a Cruz Machado, and it's in Brazil. It's beautiful. It's completely permacultured and agroforestry. So basically, this farm has no plowing. It has no watering, no fertilizing. It literally just grows in the jungle. And there's something so beautiful about the community of plants and the way that it enriches the soil and allows the yerba mate to grow with such vitality. And I've really never been to any farm that is like that, where you could never tell it's a farm looking at it from the sky. It's really just forest, jungle, and it's super lush. The soil is just so rich and red. So this particular farm we work with, one thing that's special about them is that they don't have any sales internally in Brazil so they actually only export. And because they do that, they go and get all of the highest certifications. So they are actually able to export to the EU, which is one of the highest standards. They have organic certifications from all over Brazil, Canada, North America, the United States, Europe. They also sell to Asia, and they have working on the Rainforest Alliance certification, which is a very comprehensive. It's the way that you treat the land. It's also the way you treat your people. It's safety, and so this farm really goes above and beyond. It's a lot smaller than the traditional yerba mate, and the thing about business in Brazil and in a lot of places in South America is. The big businesses can have certain practices that are not personally aligned with my ethical code of conduct. And, when I first met this farm through a mutual friend who was also distributing, Dave, shout out to Dave, distributing some products from Brazil, I was going to travel down there, and it just felt right, and I was concerned that I was going to go to the farm and have a problem. And I was so pleasantly surprised that they were going above and beyond. And it gave me so much inspiration to say, I want to sell this, and I want to say, This is Brazilian permacultured shade grown yerba mate. There's no pests, there is no fertilizer, there's no spraying, there's no watering. This is as natural as it gets. And there's no processing aids. Farm runs on solar. It's really a dream come true to sell this yerba mate, and to know, honestly, that when I drink it, it doesn't really taste like other mate. You can tell the quality is different. You can tell that it's a lot greener, and it's not smoked, which is something that has been a sort of point of contention within yerba mate, based off of a couple factors: the flavor that the smoking parts, and the PAH, which are potentially hazardous, carcinogenic compounds that are found in yerba mate that's been smoked. And so the process that they're using, the way that they manage the land, everything about it, I don't know that I could improve it. and so it's a great product. I can't speak enough about the farm and the way that they're doing things. They're a tight family. Everyone lives on the farm. Everyone's part of the family, even if they're not. They throw lots of fogo de chao, like barbecues. Like, it's very popular in the south of Brazil. And everyone's invited. Everyone's really treated well. And I really appreciated that, going there, knowing that a lot of workers are not treated well who work on your plantations. It's definitely become this industry in the south of Brazil and other places where there's a lot of money to be made, and kind of lends itself to some characters that are unsavory, I suppose. But just to see they had a level of respect for people and farm and the nature there, it's a beautiful thing. I'm super stoked that that's where we get our yerba mate from, and that it's very different, honestly, in flavor and composition to the other ones.
That's yeah. The kind of, when you get started out and when you're going through this, and as a young entrepreneur into the food and beverage space, tell me a little bit about your life prior, before you started this and making money selling this. What were you doing in your life prior to this as your career and occupational kind of financial dividends and whatever else?
Yeah, so I actually started this company in college with my buddy John. Yeah, and we put in like $5,000 of our own money each, and we got incorporated. Which, again, I would not incorporate right away. I would just kind of figure some stuff out first. You don't need to do it too official.
You have to until you have to.
Don't go too official too yet. Make it a hobby until it really needs to be something.
Yeah.
But we did all the kit and caboodle. We raised a little bit of angel money from a wonderful investor who's been so supportive. It's kind of a fun story. I don't know if I should say this, but it's my
Whatever you want. Yeah.
It's my previous business partner's ex-girlfriend's father. But he is, man, so professional, and just what a spirit to have behind us, and just encouraging me to continue on and pursue my passion. I cannot praise him enough and give him enough thanks for the support he's given me. But yeah, we started it straight out of college, and we did not know a lot. And there was a whole process, honestly. I wasn't even telling people we were starting a business. It was more like, I'm learning how to do business, and I'm learning about myself. And I honestly feel that for the first 3-4 years, we were floundering hard. We didn't know what to do. I was making it in my garage, like in my apartment. I ordered a pallet of bottles that was in the back corner of my apartment, and I was bench capping, and my buddy was supposed to be going out driving around selling them and stuff, but it was super painful every time. You give out a sample, you're like, man, I spent hours on that sample. I brewed tea, threw the kegs in the fridge, got them cold, hooked them up to the CO2, shook them to carbonate them. It was like, oh man, what a process. But this was the first thing. I worked some other, kind of basic jobs, catering and whatnot.
But this was you do what you got to do to drive the dream. Yep.
Yeah.
I also started in college as well. So my this is 20 years ago as a dorm room business.
Mm-hmm.
And and believe it or not, I was way ahead of social media, and I got laughed out of every client meeting because I was trying to build them Facebook groups and all these social media things. And people just said, get out of here, get out of here. So I finally found a client that was a little bit progressive at the time and understood what was going on. So I had one of the first Facebook groups in Philadelphia before it was a Facebook group, like back in 2008, when you had to have a college email address to join Facebook. So that was not 2008, it was probably 2004, I'd say, I guess at that point. And then 2004, 2005. And then all of a sudden I wanted to communicate. I was doing sales for beer. So I was going door to door at bars selling for a distributor. And I was like, man, this is crazy trying to communicate all these events that are going on. And how do I harness all this in one place? And so I started a group called Nate's Bar Promotions. And literally I would just every promotion I sold into at my accounts, I would just put in there. And then people would just keep following me around with all the different promotions. And my bars started getting all excited because when I would have my promotion, it wasn't just, oh, Heineken's on special. And it was Heineken's on special and Nate's bringing 50 people in the door. You know what I mean? So it kept building from there. And I was like, man, this Facebook thing is incredible, but it's like so small. It's only for college kids. And I'm like, I can't wait to like get this bigger. And then they made it bigger. And I've been doing that since then with using it for sales and marketing.
Your audio cut out.
Oh, sorry. How about now?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So a lot of people, like you said about you're afraid to kind of say that you were running that business in the dorm room. I know like that's a big thing when you're like, hey, nobody's going to believe me. What do I know? I have no experience in the world. How do I know how to bring something to market? But you make do. And that's the one thing about that grit and that determination of the entrepreneurial spirit that like you can figure it out. It's like you don't need to go to, you can go to school and get that foundation because it's important. It's one of those things that you have to get it in there. But after that, you don't have to spend 20 years in some career to start a business. There's so many great stories of people starting their businesses in college. And then also, other great stories of people starting their businesses after their kids went to college and they had all this free time. And then they realized they were passionate about running a business. And that's just, there's a joy in that dichotomy of how people get started. And, just kudos to you, because I know you get out there, and especially when you come out, and I can remember countless networking meetings and things like that where people are like, oh, you're going to do this? What do you know? What do you know? You don't know anything yet. That perseverance. And one of the things we talked about the other week on one of the podcasts was about accepting rejection and understanding the differences of a no to a not right now. And then making sure that you didn't take every no as a never situation and interpret them as a not right now. And how a lot of people get burned out on the second or third touch point because they can't handle the rejection and they take it too personal or whatever else. But, sometimes you just got to roll up your sleeves and take those beatings when you can,
Yeah. If there's one thing that I've learned from Yerba Mate, it's resilience. It's what's an adaptogen. It's that ability to adapt. It's the ability to take stress. And, I'm at this point where like, things aren't going perfect. Almost never, I'm like a pinball, but I'm just, I'm kind of go with the flow at this point, and you become kind of immune to the rejection. The more you toss yourself in the fire, the more fire resistant you become. So, I think that it really cultivates that within you and that belief in like, hey, I can like just go out and hustle and make this thing happen. No class will ever teach you. Nothing will ever really prepare you. And that's why I think it's all learning by doing. It's all experiential. And I encourage everyone to do it. And when I listen to one of my favorite podcasts is How I Built This with Guy Raz. It's an entrepreneurship one. And when you listen to all the people, they don't know what they're doing. They're all experimenting. They're learning by doing. And a lot of them don't come into their most successful business until much later in their life. And had no prior experience. They jumped from some career path into it and just said, like, I want to bet on me, And so I always encourage everyone to just go bet on you and don't give up, and you're going to fail. But if it's something that you like and you care about, like, you're going to have the persistence and it's going to help you grow in a way that you never thought was possible.
There's a lot of times where, you get a lot of people where let's say you're interviewing salespeople, for example, and you're in that interview process and they try to tell you, how do I get trained for this and everything else? And it's like, you can come up with the most onboarding extensive training process in the world, but really at the end of the day, there's not a book for it per se. It's like there's a million books out there about sales and things like that, but to know, to teach yourself and to learn how to situationally manage and pivot on the fly, that's the differential between a true salesman and someone that's an order taker. And I think that's one thing that, like, with all the books in the world, and I'm one in the bottom. I have a library full of business books. But at the end of the day, that's that number one thing, like you're talking about too, that situational management, that understanding of the customer, understanding your mission and your values, and listening enough to make sure that they're aligned, and then selling them afterwards. And then also having the decision sometimes when you heard them, maybe you don't sell to them because you realize it's not the right match for what you're trying to do too. And you don't want to be a burden in their inventory. And it's not going to sell through the way you want it for success on your brand. So that listening and that encouragement is really important, and understanding that. And that's, like you said, there's you can take all the classes in the world and they're important for some foundational things, but unless you can situationally manage yourself and pivot on the fly in a conversation, that's a hard part. That's a hard differential for networking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What would you guys what would you say you have some things coming out for the future, the loose leaf teas and things like that? Kind of What would you say as far as how you would describe your leadership style to your group, and how you represent whether it's your employees or your outbound community as a whole, and kind of what's looking down the future? You said about obviously e-commerce is coming in, some distro expansions possibly, and kind of let us know what we have to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, so let's break that down. My leadership style, I would say, is like organic. Like, I want to understand your nature. I want to build a system around you that seems minimally invasive and plays to your strengths. And I think, like, it's like all about flow. Like, how can we create the processes of the least resistance? How can we create efficient systems that work in harmony with each other? How do we not fight our nature? How do we really understand what people's strengths are and play to them? And even within, like, our path, like, of where we're pursuing, like, what are we passionate about? What feels like we'll have intrinsic motivation to succeed in, and so I would say that's my leadership style, if that could be classified as one. Our distribution, I really look to expand our online presence. I want to create more content around Yerba Mate, around the benefits. I'm a little camera shy, actually, and I like have a hard time filming myself and, like, making content. But I would love to just educate more people about the herb and let people know that it's more than this canned beverage. It's not just this energy drink, but it's this beautiful, beautiful herb with so many benefits. And really promote the farm and the way that they're doing things. We've got our loose leaf tea. You get it on our website in a 1 pound bag. We're going to start wholesaling. So basically, we can sell the yerba extract, and we can sell large bags to people who want to open a tea shop, people who want to start a beverage or a food product. We're going to start selling some of these puyas or gourds. Basically, there's a couple of different ones that I've been sourcing from Brazil. And then we're going to start selling some of these Baldias. We have a couple already available, but a couple different styles. And these are wonderful, not even if you're into yerba mate, but just if you like sustainability and you like tea and you want the maximum diffusion of your tea leaves without the inhibition of a tea bag. Like, I'd love to see bombas just become really popular amongst tea drinkers, because it's like a French press, but you get a straw. It's more fun to drink out of, and they're wonderful. Then eventually we'll launch a line of thermoses. These are wonderful, and if you travel around South America, you'll always see the mate drinkers carrying around their thermos. It's so common, and it just makes it so readily available. Then the last thing would be the powder. And this is just a beautiful, beautiful thing that only is found in south of Brazil. It's called chimarrão. And traditionally, you pack the entire gourd in a very specific way. And there's a whole ritual of preparation. But we would be selling this powder as like ultra refined powder, almost like a matcha product, where you could use a sort of milk frother or like a whisk or something like that and create beverages with that. And I'll be doing some tutorials on that. And I think that's really going to open up coffee shops, which I would love to see, because before matcha, really, you never saw like a green tea latte. Like, you kind of had to have something more concentrated. So I hope to get this all over the place. I hope every coffee shop has yerba mate. I hope people start knowing about it as an herbal tea, not just an energy drink. And so, we've got plans for online, and hopefully we'll get some distribution here in the Pacific Northwest and beyond. We'll keep scaling.
Excellent, James. Well, hey, give a shout out to all your different platforms that you're on, how people can connect with you and can in touch with the brand.
Yeah, you can follow us on Instagram, Yerbana or Yerbana_Mate. That's our Yerba Mate account. The other one's our wellness events account. You can follow me, James J. Tan, JamesJTan. And I think those are the best places to follow us. You can get on our website, yerbana.com. And yeah, feel free to reach out.
Perfect, James. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. It was great connecting.
Are you looking for a way to grow your business, reach new customers, and increase your sales? If so, you need the FreeMind Group, founded in 2008 and a provider of creative and strategic solutions for the food and beverage industry. Whether you need branding, marketing, product development, or innovation, the FreeMind Group can help you achieve your goals and unleash your potential. Visit our website at thefreemindgroup.com and get a free consultation today. Thank you for listening and see you next time.